All right, welcome to episode 4 of the Fantasy Sports Wrap. Michael Potter.
Deron Phillip.
And week 1 is in the books. Not a happy week.
No, it wasn't
We
good.
played each other, and I ended up winning this one 7-3, but it came down to Sunday night.
It did. And A-Rod versus Mookie Betts. I like my chances. And
A-Rod won.
A-Rod won, and the Yankees won big. So
Yeah.
that was not the game I was looking for.
And I didn't have Headley in the lineup, or it would have been even. I would have tied you in the home run category. But anyway, the big story though for the week: the Shuffsville Slammers, 8-1-1. Tillman Pride, James, got your name right. Don't be too worried because I think you would have beaten me like 6-3 or something like that, or 5-4 or something. So, but Shuffsville Slammers, I looked at it. Shuffsville Slammers, they won 8-1-1, and in the first week. They beat everybody. They won 5 categories outright on the week, so they would have beat pretty much anybody.
And ERA and WHIP both under 1.
Yeah, that was insane. It was starting pitchers.
Yeah. I mean, 56 strikeouts, 4 wins. And so
but
I don't know if that's going
to lineup.
Yeah.
His pitchers are good.
He's got some decent
some
pitchers.
good ones.
Yep.
But the thing that surprised me, because we thought Shuff's lineup was going to be good pitching wise, is he had 14 home runs and 46 RBIs and 10 stolen bases.
Yeah.
He had some guys who you wouldn't expect to hit real well. Salvador Perez, who we saw him in the World Series, couldn't hit the ball. Shuff picked him late as his catcher, and he's probably got the best numbers of any catcher in the league.
Hitting .417 right now.
Yeah.
3 home runs, 8 RBIs. The Royals as a whole, I think, are surprising people because I think when you looked at that team, heading into the draft, all right, they're a nice team, but from a fantasy perspective, are they going to really put up the numbers? Well, so far they are. I mean, they're scoring runs. They're undefeated. They took care of the Angels.
Yeah, they're 6-0. The only other undefeated team is Detroit. We knew they would mash, and they have been. Cabrera mainly doing it, but really everybody. Phoenix Tower, J.D. Martinez, he really propelled them to a 6-2-2 victory over Docs and Jocks. Docs and Jocks, man, they had some injuries. Dr. Dan and Brandon were both at the game, Texas opening day.
That's the worst. When you're actually at the game and your guys are getting hurt, and just like, oh,
well,
gosh.
Derek Holland started that game, and after one inning came out with a shoulder injury. He's on the 60-day DL now, and then after one inning, their right fielder gets replaced. They have Schmolinsky too, but then Sin Chu goes out with an injury, and they're texting me going, "Hey, we only have 3 acquisitions, man. That's hard." When you get injuries.
It is.
Which is true. And we'll talk more about why we chose the 3 acquisitions and things a little bit later and kind of remind everybody on some of the other stuff. But so Phoenix Tower, the newbie, tied for the lead in the Western Division with me. I'm not happy about that because I have more wins than him, but the 6-2-2 ties, the winning percentage is the same, so he's in second place. But Tom pieced together, and he's done more transactions than anybody that week after the draft when you do unlimited.
He's making some good moves. He really is. Yeah, not playing like a rookie, that's for sure.
Those guys but if you're Docs and Jocks, you look at that, their 75 strikeouts would have beaten anybody else in the league except for the guy they played who had 76. And that's just sometimes how it works.
Right. Yep.
You can't have too much of a knee-jerk reaction.
No. It's kind of like fantasy football, too, especially with that. When you're, why am I playing a guy that's having a hot week all the time? And sometimes it just happens that way. So don't worry about it. I'm worried, but, I'm 3-7.
You'll worry about it if you're up 9-1 after 2 days.
I will. Yeah. I'm never comfortable. But I was hoping to pull off a 4-6 with you, and I almost did it. My guys finally started hitting.
Yes.
They hit in the middle of the week. Yeah. The beginning we didn't hit. And in the middle of the week, they did. And then at the end of the week, yesterday was just a total 0. I mean, I had guys. I had Odor on Texas come up twice with the bases loaded. Once he walked, and the other time he struck out. And it just can't.
And I think I had the guy ahead of him, Elvis Andrus.
Well, actually, they bumped him up in the lineup
each time.
Yesterday.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
okay.
they did.
Yeah. That's the other thing, too, is they're – a lot of these managers, I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't.
They are monkeying around, moving guys up and down the order. Troy Tulowitzki sits on a Sunday, a chance to win a series at home, and they sit the guy. And they lose the series.
They lost the game. Yeah.
So I get it. He's a hurt guy, but they're gonna have a break this week anyway. So, anyways, we came down to the last day, Sunday, and Fernando Rodney gave up 4 runs, came in a non-safe situation, but then he'd come back and get the win, which helped me out. But, some of these managers and the decisions they're making can really affect you.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when, like you mentioned, when I had about 3 or 4 closers coming in non-safe situations, and that's just the death knell for a closer.
They always get lit up.
They do. ERA and WHIP just get totally trashed when they're in a situation where they're not called on to save the game. So had some blown saves. All my pitchers just got annihilated. Of course, we talked about Matt Latos early last week. I mean,
my favorite pitcher.
He really set the tone for me in
guy.
a bad way last week because I just never really recovered. And even though Rodney got hit at the end, you just had too much of a lead for me to really catch you in ERA and WHIP.
Matt Latos is available out there if you
go get him. You want him, you can have him. In fact, he's a 2-start pitcher this week, so grab him.
Yeah, you can blow up your ERA twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
Baracho Bandits Team Britain. That was a close one. 5-4-1 it ends. That was a seesaw back and forth battle. That's who you play.
I got Bandits this week.
You got Ozzy.
Yep, I got Ozzy this week,
this week, yeah.
And that'll be interesting. He's making some good moves early. You know, I'm watching you, Oz. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a couple pitching matchups today. 4 starters, 2 matchups. He's going for the wins. He doesn't have any closers. He's got 1 closer, and so he's definitely going to try to go for wins and strikeouts, which is smart. You know, if you get some good pitching too, he can get ERA and WHIP. But that's the key. You get a couple guys get blown up early, especially when you don't have the ability to really pick up unlimited pitchers to get that ERA and WHIP down. You know, you're going to be in trouble. So, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited to play him. He's second in my division. He's 5-4-1. Of course, Schuff is leading, and then I'm sitting.
Oh yeah, let's
fourth.
go over the standings now first. I meant to do that before, and then we'll get to the rest of the matchups.
So the East Division, you know, like I said, Sheffield Slammers leads. Then Bandits is second, 3 games back. Team Britain is 4 games back. Then me, the Moon Valley Racers.
How many games back?
5.5 back, and then Tillman Pride is 7 back.
It's okay, James. You'll be fine.
Yep, and then over to your division.
Yeah, my division got Phoenix Tower, 6-2-2. I have 7 wins. Why are they listed above me? I don't like that. I'm 7-3, so we're both even with one another. Mounties, 5-4-1, 1.5 back. Domorowski, 4-5-1, 2.5 back, and Docs and Jocks, 2-6-2, 4 games back. Mm-hmm. But you know, going back to that matchup with Baracho Bandits, you know, he won 2 categories outright. Team Britain won 1 category outright. And when you look at everybody's overall numbers, I mean, the wins. 5 wins was the most anybody got this week.
Yep.
Which is a little amazing, but some starters pitched great, and others just got blown up, and you had middle inning reliever guys getting wins and things like that.
Well, Max Scherzer, I think Dale's got him.
Yeah, Dale's got Scherzer.
And he didn't get a win this week. He pitched 2 really good games and didn't get a win. So, but you know, his ERA and WHIP are both under 1, and that's part of the reason why his stats were so good there.
Yeah, and Team Britain, you mentioned Baracho working at Team Britain's working at 2, made some pickups, some acquisitions. Then the final matchup was the Mounties up in Toronto, our only international team, and Team Domorowski. And that was one that, boy, early in the week it looked like Mounties was gonna pull off, not a skunk, but, you know, 8-2, 7-3, maybe even a 9-1.
Domorowski came back, though.
I actually got a call from McKenzie. Early in the week when he was up big, saying, I love my team. I'm going to roll everybody. I'm going to crush you next week because I'm playing him next week. But I was up big early in the week, too. And it's a whole week. You know, things happen. And Domorowski made a little comeback. Mounties won 1, you know, tied for the 5 wins, which was the best in the league. And Domorowski, 41 runs, was tied for the tops in the league with Docs and Jocks. So what that tells me is everybody's kind of right around it.
Right.
And Schuff just had a week where everybody went off. Now, will they do that again? We'll see this week. You know? I mean, more power to them if they do. But typically, guys are going to, I think a lot of teams are fairly even. So we're going to see a lot of those 4-5, 5-4, those ties too.
Docs and Jocks and Slammers are playing each other this week, by the way. So
hang
on, Docs and Jocks. Hang on for your life. Yeah.
Try to survive. I looked at Toronto Mounties using the numbers that we both put up this week. They would have beat Jeff would have beat me 7-3. Using the numbers you and Pat both put up last week, he would have beat you 6-3-1. Mm-hmm. Now, it's fun to do, but in reality, it doesn't matter.
Starts over today.
Starts over, and who knows what's going to happen.
That's right.
From week to week.
Yep.
So, you know, I thought it was a great first week. It was a lot of fun. I think it's very interesting because, from my perspective, a lot of first-round draft picks got off to slow starts.
They did.
Paul Goldschmidt, probably the best first-round draft pick Andrew McCutchen didn't do anything until, I think Sunday. That's what helped Domorowski get back in it. Mm-hmm. Carlos Gomez, my guy, didn't do anything. It's horrible in the first round. And then I traded for another first-round pick, Abreu. He didn't do anything either.
Right.
There was a lot of guys who got drafted late later rounds that really performed well for their teams.
Mike Trout did have a good week.
What did Trout do?
He hit 400, 3 runs, a homer, and 3 RBIs.
Yeah, so that's a good week. Yeah,
you can't complain about that.
No, that's a good week.
And Tillman Pride has him.
Yeah. But then you look at some of the weeks some of the other
ones.
guys put up were just massive. You know, Carlos Gonzalez did well. Tulowitzki had a nice week. I have Adrian Gonzalez. I picked him 4th round, 5th round, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was 4th round.
And he had 5 home runs. Never been done before in 3 games in Major League history. 7 RBIs.
Yeah.
Like nobody was on base for the guy.
No, never was.
Your guy Stanton, horrible this week.
No home runs. You know, RBI, run, stole a base. But so I need him to really step it up this week against
And
Pat.
I think the number 10 pick was Felix Hernandez. Mounty's got him. First game, lights out, unbelievable. Second game, not so much, and now I think he's day to day.
Yeah, he got a little injury there, so always intriguing. Lots of stuff going on, lots of variables from week to week, and so that's the nice thing about head to head, which I really enjoy, is that you have a bad week. It's not like you're looking like, oh, my season's shot because I'm behind in all these categories now. You know, it's just like, okay, I start with a new opponent. Let's bring it on. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and let's talk about the way we set the league up, because I've gotten some questions on this. We've questioned each other on why we did it. We got a lot of folks in the league I think everybody's at least played fantasy of some sort at some time. But, like, we haven't played head-to-head, the league, Dale, that he was in it with, we haven't played for years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't played head-to-head ever. They played roto or points-based leagues and things like that. Typically in those leagues, you set your lineup on a Monday, and it's locked for the rest of the week.
Right.
Okay.
In the roto leagues.
Yeah.
Yep.
And typically in a head-to-head, you get unlimited pickups and you get unlimited moves throughout each day. Mm-hmm. We knew everybody was busy. We were all adults. We got jobs. We got kids.
Right.
It wasn't going to be – we didn't want to get a league where, like we did last time, and Shuff can attest to this, where we were up at midnight doing stuff, and it really consumed you. Like, you're always making moves.
Right.
So we limited it to 3 transactions per matchup, but you can change your lineup before it locks at the first game.
Right.
So why did we do that?
Well, originally we were going to do a weekly lineup,
Right.
where you're going to set it right from the beginning. And like Mike said earlier, you can't make any changes. So if you get a guy that gets hurt on a Monday, and he's done for the week, and that spot is basically burned up. So we figured, you know what? Let's give ourselves a little bit of latitude so where you can move guys in and out of your lineup, but let's limit the transactions so it's not like this all-consuming thing like you mentioned. And so that's what we did. We went 3. On hindsight, I'm thinking maybe we should have done 4 or 5 because the 3 burn up quickly. I mean, if you're looking to pick up a
Really
closer,
quickly.
I mean, I used mine up I think by Wednesday of last week because I picked them up on closers.
And if you make a mistake, which I did, I picked up, I made a mistake. I picked up Alex Avila and didn't even use him that week. And you burn one, that's 33% of your transactions.
Sure.
It does reset. It actually resets after your lineup locks on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because you're done. So you can start picking up guys up Sunday. But anyway, that's why we did it. I got, Docs and Jocks, I got a text from them saying, man, this 3 acquisitions is tough because, they had 2 guys go down in one day. But like I said, if it was a points league or something, you wouldn't even be able to move them out of the lineup. At least here you have the ability to move them in and out of the lineup. And I think as we go on, people understand kind of how to use that better, how to use those acquisitions, how to have some bench strength. But it does limit what you can and can't do.
Oh yeah, it really handcuffs you in certain situations. A case in point, towards the end of the week, they announced in Toronto that they were changing closers.
Yeah.
And I had all my transactions were gone. Yours were all gone. Yeah. And talking with Dale Shuffville Slammers, he was surprised that none of us had gotten on it because he ended up picking up the new guy. Forget his name.
I don't even know his name either.
Doesn't
Dale
matter.
Knows his name and Mounties knows his name.
Right.
He's a Blue Jays fan.
So Dale picked him up. He was wondering where we were at, but we didn't have any moves left. So basically, you're kind of sitting for the rest of the week, scouting ahead for the following week is basically all you can do because there's nothing more you can do with your lineup for this week other than moving guys in and out of your lineup. So.
Yeah, and what I noticed too in the head-to-head league when you can make as many, or in a league where you can make as many drop ads as you want. The waiver order is really important because a guy when you drop him, he hits waivers for a certain amount of days. Then he becomes a free agent. Mm-hmm. And so in our league, man, a decent guy would get dropped. It was nice to have a higher waiver position than somebody else, and you would use that.
Right.
Well, now, to me, I look at the second waiver position, I'm like, typically by the time if somebody drops somebody, if I'm out of, he's going to be a free agent by the time. So I don't know. Waiver order to me doesn't seem as important unless you get lucky and you have an acquisition available and somebody drops somebody really good.
Right. Yeah. Or maybe you need to be thinking about that too. Keeping an extra pick during the week, keeping that acquisition open in case somebody gets dropped, and you have a high waiver position. Then you can possibly grab them. But yeah, it's not as crucial because that was always changing when it was the daily league. The waiver, and of course every time someone makes a waiver claim, then that team goes to the bottom of the pile. So wherever you're at right now, like you're at number 2.
Yeah.
So if you make a waiver claim, then you would go back to number 10, and that's kind of how it does the whole season. It never resets. It basically just keeps going throughout the whole year. So
it's a little bit new for us and for a lot of people the way it's going. If the whole league wanted to make a change and say, hey, we're not going to go to unlimited because we don't want to get back into that deal. But if everybody said, hey, let's go to 5 or let's do, we're open to that suggestion. Shoot us an email. But as it is right now, I think we'll keep it the same for a couple of weeks. It's going to change some strategies, like you mentioned, maybe saving one. I think it also, what it does is it puts a premium on making trades. I mean, you can make trades.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Go for it. And those don't count against your
trades do not
acquisition.
Count. No.
Yeah.
Even if you pick up an extra player in a trade, like if you do you trade one guy and get back 2 guys, it doesn't count against your acquisitions. It's only if you pick up somebody out of the free agent pool or off waivers. Yeah,
and I like to trade. I think so far only Dale and I have had the only trade
so far
in the league. I've had people offer me trades. I haven't taken any other ones. I know when you look at people's lineups, you see their strength and what their weaknesses are. You want to make that trade. I've had people ask me about closers because I have a lot of closers. Mm-hmm. I want all of them. I want every closer. I don't know why. It's a weird thing I've got going on. I want to get like 18 saves a week. So, but my strategy is to go for saves, ERA, and WHIP. Mm-hmm. Very difficult. Almost blew up on me with Rodney. If one other guy had a blow-up day, I would have lost 2 of those categories,
Right.
Worked out this week and actually stole wins from you, too. Probably won't do that much this year, though. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to hang on to my closers for now, but that starts keep an eye on that. That starts blowing up on me. Some of those guys will become available, and maybe one of them will, when Nathan gets back, maybe a guy will become available, and so I could trade from that strength. But I think trades are going to be a great way to build your team.
Right. I haven't gotten any offers yet, and I think there's a good reason for that because my guys haven't done anything, and people are looking at my teams going, he doesn't really have any strengths right now, so I can't really, take someone from him that's going to benefit and give him someone that's going to benefit him. So, but like we said, it's a long season. And week 2 starts up today. So
yeah, and it's very interesting that some of the takeaways for me, like I said, were a lot of the top picks haven't hit. Don't freak out. Stan's going to hit, right?
He better.
Abreu's going to hit.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to start hitting. Another thing that stood out, there's a lot of injuries, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys getting nicked up going day to day, guys who seemed like 10, 15 years ago, they just played through that stuff.
Well, and like we talked about on the phone yesterday, they're resting guys. This is the first week of the season. They rest Troy Tulowitzki on a Sunday, like you mentioned earlier. Like, come on, man. I mean, what's the deal?
They rested somebody else big, and it's escaping me now, but they rested somebody else big on a chance, a chance to win a series, and they rest a guy. Oh, we're going to give him rest. We're going to protect him. It's like, all right, I guess so, but it seems awful early to be resting guys. That stuck out to me, too. And the other thing that really jumped out at me was steals. I mean, a lot of people, 7. Mounties and Domorowski have 7 steals, 10 for Shuffsville Slammers. But there's only a few guys stealing bases. And I think Hamilton was the guy who really got it going for Shuffsville. But there's not a ton of steals out there, or one guy. It just didn't. It seemed like steals are difficult to come by.
Right. I was expecting more. Altuve, I don't even. He maybe stole 1 base this week.
I think he stole 1, right?
Yeah, but then I had my catcher stole a base, which is always a bonus. Stanton stole a base, which is kind of surprising too. And I had a couple other ones. I think Betts had one. Odor. So, but Billy Hamilton though is the guy that's going to be. 7 steals in the first week. That's huge. You got a guy like that. So.
Well, I'm a big numbers guy, and I'm thinking, okay, if he stole 7 the first week, how many's he got left? Is he going to steal 70? So he's got 63 left the rest of the year. He's not going to steal 100, right? You wouldn't think.
Yeah, he might.
Like Adrian Gonzalez, 5 home runs. Is he going to hit 50? I doubt it.
No, probably not.
40? He got 35 left throughout the entire rest of the year. Mm-hmm. Whereas Stanton, he hit 1 or none?
None. No
so
homers.
He's got 40 left. You got 40 homers left.
That's great. Well, you can start hitting him anytime.
I'll trade you for him right now.
No.
Ben Revere. Straight up. Well, hey, I thought it was a fun first week. I think everybody's kind of figuring it out. We had a bunch of questions before the week started. how to even address the site, what you could do. But I think everybody's kind of figuring it out.
People
now.
are settling in.
Yeah.
They're making their moves. They're understanding more how to do it. And I figured that would happen. It's just a matter of getting on the site, kind of poking around, seeing how things work, and then that's the best way to learn, because I can give all the advice I can, but until you actually sit down and do it yourself, you're not going to really get a good handle on it. So, but we're proud of the newbies that what they're doing here so far.
One of the newbies, Tom Brown, is
he's leading.
Well, he's tied for the lead on.
Yeah.
But the other thing that stands out too is it's a long week. All right, so don't freak out if you're down early. Don't be all elated if you're up early. It's a long week and anything can happen. Guys can get hot and go on a roll for a couple of games, and that's what baseball's all about. You want some of those steady guys, but everybody on every team has a couple of those guys that can just go off in a week. And we saw a few of them do it this week, but everybody's got some of those guys. Those first-round draft picks can have a game where they go 4 for 5 with a home run and 4 RBI,
right.
And that can really change the balance.
Well, and that's what I was hoping for last week. I mean, I was very happy my team actually came back and showed some fight toward the end of the week, but I was really looking for Stanton to just kind of go off one of those games, maybe have a multi-homer game and drive in a bunch of runs, but it just never happened. So maybe this will be the week, and Pat, you can look forward to that when Stanton goes off.
Ozzie hopes it's next week.
Yeah.
So matchups, Bushwood Loopers at Toronto Mounties. That should be a good one. Like I said, last week Jeff would have beat me 7-3. Docks and Jocks at Slammers. Good luck, Docks and Jocks.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Docks and Jocks, that's the name of our radio show that myself, Dr. Dan Hawk, we do that together out of D1 Abilene, and our show is to talk about sports injuries, and so far their team has the most sports injuries. Ironic, don't you think? Moon Valley Racers at Baracho Bandits, and you guys would have been a 6-3-1 using last week's numbers.
This is a key interdivision game early on in the season here. It is, because I do not want to have another losing week. I don't want to get myself too far out of this. Slammers is off to a huge start. I need help from Docks and Jocks.
Key interdivision game. That's funny.
And so this is big. This is a big game for me. Big week to get back on.
Tillman Pride at Team Britain. This is a huge week for Tillman Pride because with one win, you got to start. I mean, you're not out of it early, but you got to start putting some. We were talked about it. You go 3, 4. I mean, you go 4, 5. You're okay. You get into 3s, the 2s, and the 1s. It gets a little dicey. You put a couple of those back to back.
You don't want to be playing for Pride this early
after
Tillman
a
Pride.
month.
Yeah.
So anyway, and Britain hosting Tillman Pride, and Phoenix Tower at Team Domorowski. That should be a nice matchup too.
Yeah. So some good matchups coming up this week. Yeah,
some really good matchups coming up this week. And you said something earlier, and it's blanking me right now. It would be a good tip for some people. But anyway, go back and watch this. We drop tips every now and again for you guys. And so anyway, we're going to try to do this video when I think on Mondays, because we can recap the week and get you set for the next week. And we might try to drop some videos during the week as well. I'm going to be traveling this week with GCU Baseball, so we might do a podcast
or just a
something.
podcast. Yeah.
We're going to try to start getting some guests on, some folks in our league. We've also had some interest in some folks outside of the league with the work in fantasy sports, and we'll try to get those. A lot of times those might just be a podcast. Mm-hmm. So when we send you out the information, I know a lot of you guys are watching on YouTube. We're getting feedback. We really appreciate that. Please feel free to like that on the Facebook pages, share it. Join YouTube and come on and subscribe to the channel. And then when we send the podcast out on SoundCloud, we'd appreciate if you guys would share those with people as well. Just send them out to your friends.
And let us know what you prefer. We're not sure if the video is what everyone's going to want to see all the time. There's going to be times where like we said, we can't do the video, but right. I think the SoundCloud will be just as beneficial because it's basically going to be this show. But you just won't be able to see us. So
and we're working on a few more things. Might have a website to launch a little bit later on. We're working on a bunch of different content ideas, but we really appreciate you guys are a huge part of it. We appreciate it. Keep giving the feedback and let us know what you think. And I guess good luck. I mean, we're not playing each other, so I can absolutely say good luck, Deron.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Hope you have a great week, man.
We're in different divisions. Doesn't matter. So good luck to all of you out there too for week 2.
All right, that'll do it. We will see you guys in a little while. Check your emails.